Hey everybody, it's Freemotion Fridays with Kate. I am so excited to be back. We have been missing it for a couple of weeks and it's just frustrating. If you can hear me okay and you can see everything, can you let me know? And that way we can get started. So thanks. I know, sadly, I have not been good at communicating. This is kind of where we're going today. Give you a little orientation. I love this design. It turned out so pretty, and we're going to do more than just this little piece. Everybody kept saying, oh, I'd like to see the rest of the quilt. Well, that is the rest of the quilt. And I wasn't even able to cut it squarely because it was right on the edge. But I decided I was going to do a little bit more. When I tried to do this class the last time and share some of these ideas, I actually had a lot of machine trouble. So hopefully today that is not going to happen. So what I've done so far is just create some space to work in. And if I was doing this in a quilt, the concept of it would be maybe this would be pieced right here, and then you would have quilting that would be appropriate for the piecing. And in your negative space, you could do whatever you wanted. So what I'm going to do for the next couple weeks is we're going to fill in these spaces with different ideas, and the integration between the spaces is really going to be the key for what we're talking about in terms of the education process. So hi Sandy, hi Melanie. Yay, I'm so excited to be back. It's been a really complicated schedule lately. I was able to take care of my family stuff, and I'm glad to be home, and I hope you guys are all doing well and ready to sew. This circle right here, people always say, what size is it? It doesn't matter what size it is. Whatever size you want. For me, this is the 8-inch circle, and then I did a 1/4-inch echo, and then this is a 6-inch circle and the 1/4-inch echo. This particular space right here is about 1.5. Let's verify. Trust but verify, right? Just so you can see. Can I make it smaller? Of course. Whatever you want. It's up to you. So it's about 1.5, give or take, and that's the dimension across this. So whatever I fill into this space is going to have to be about that big. If you find it harder to make the swirl big like this, then you could make a narrower opening and make a smaller swirl. If you like a bigger swirl and a bigger curly Q in there, then you can make a bigger one. So totally up to you. Always what I try to show you is so that you can do it at whatever scale or whatever area that you need to do for your quilt. So I kind of hate to give like this exact directions. People will say, what's the marking for that? And I'm like, it's the technique, just use it how you need it. So anyway, there you go. So I like always these little spaces. I like this design to be set apart. If this is the edge of the design and then this edge creeps right up to it, I feel like these mesh together and I don't like that. I like that degree of separation that lets each of the elements stand on their own so that there's a little breathing room. That's what I call it. So anyway, that's just my thing. That's not everybody's, but let's talk about the swirl first. We're not going to obviously do this whole thing. We're just going to concentrate on a couple of things. And the first one we're going to do is starting on this. If I have a motif in my negative space that is really defining, which I think that this circle is, I think this is going to bring people's eye right to here. So you would want to sew this first, and then if you add another large motif and another motif over here, at least outline those first. Even if you don't sew them in first, make sure that you designate the space, and then you can do whatever you want in the interim spaces. But at least if these are already identified, that lets you start thinking about the totality and what goes in between and how those designs can work. So the concept with the swirl is obviously we want to make them all continuous. So I think it may be hard to see right there, but we're sort of aiming for the middle. And when I come out, right here, I want to be close to this edge. I don't necessarily need to touch it, but I'm going to fill it in. Here, I want a gap. I do not want my swirl to go all the way. So I'm going to come in. Here, there has to be some space to creep back out. Okay, it's up to you. Typically for me, I like the ruler foot because it's nice. I can just center the ruler foot basically right there, and then the stitch will be right in the middle. When I come out, this is where I'm going to aim to touch right here to close that, and then this will stretch to this boundary in the middle. So this is the transition right here. Filling it in, and then coming back out and stretching it. Again, it doesn't have to touch, but close. The idea is to essentially fill up this space as much as you can, and then you're going to just come back over here. And I don't care if this touches. You see how this one doesn't right here? There's like a little gap. So maybe I could just come in a little bit right here, and then this one kind of fills that space. But I'm not too worried about that because there's already a lot of transitions happening here. People are going to expect more thread to be there. So if there is, who cares, right? Don't worry about that. Don't worry about too much, every little speck of detail. Just get the totality in there. All right, well, let's see. Can I do it? I always ask myself, like, okay, well, they want to see what I'm doing. I don't know. And I think that I'm really good at doing these swirls, actually a little bit smaller than this. So this is going to be the challenge. Always when you're practicing, make sure that you don't just practice at one size, because if you only practice at one size, you'll only be able to do it at one size. All right, here we go. Notice that my hands are going to be flat. If I need to grip, I can just do a little this. I still want this area flat, but this will give me a little bit more push and pull, especially if your sandwich is kind of big. Also, I will tell you that I did warm up before I started today. So the foot's kind of helping me. There's no rush. Don't worry about going too fast. Just nice and easy, and then just kissing right there. All right, I did it. So I won't lie to you guys. I still feel like that. When something goes well, I'm excited about it and I want to celebrate it. So you should too. Everything that you get, comfortable and happy and it looks good to you, that's a victory, okay? So let's do our little one here. This one will be a little harder to see, but I'm just going to try to let my foot be the guide. Come back out using the foot right in the middle. And here, try to touch that space. And I can just keep going. As long as my hand position is comfortable, I can just keep going. If your hand position starts to get uncomfortable, that's when you want to change your position. Touch and back to the center. So let's talk a little bit about this spacing so you can see what my lines represent. If I draw a line straight across, this is the 1/4 of the circle right here, okay? And then this line in the middle is the 45-degree angle. Then I just put one line in the middle. If I had put another line, like, let's see if I can make a visual of it. If this is the 1/4, right, and we're out here somewhere, and this is our space, right, and we split it in the middle. If I made this 3 units, see how they're more like a rectangle? They're a little skinnier and this way, and they're wider this way. So the reason that I chose only 2 spaces is this is essentially a square, kind of. I mean, it's a little bit wider here, but the circle's not going to extend into this space. So for me, this is the visual space that I'm working with, and then we're right at the middle. So you'll see there is a little bit more openness here, but that circle is essentially a square. It's inscribed in that. So that's how I decided how many lines I would split my quarter circles into, because I felt like that would give me a more even unit instead of a rectangle. Can you do it in a rectangle? Of course you can if you want to. That's totally up to you. You can go ahead and make yours a little less round and a little more oblong if you want to. My machine is really loud today. I'm going to have to probably clean it. So stretch it out nice and round. Okay. I need to kind of readjust here. This is a good stopping point. Whenever you're transitioning in the middle, you're changing direction. So that's kind of a good place if you need to readjust your hands. So I'm going to try to make this one come out a little bit more. Oh, he's a little bit scrawny on the bottom there. We're going to have to fix that. So I'm going to wing it out a little bit, get to the middle, and then here we go. We're almost there. You can tell pink's my favorite color, right? Sometimes I can make them a little rounder. When you're doing this, speed is kind of important. Okay, you can't go super slow. You need a little bit of flow on this curve because you're changing directions so often. So just make sure you give yourself a little bit of room. And that's kind of how we were able to fit all of this in. Let's see if we can show it a little better. Let's see, we'll turn the camera so you can see. There you go. So I think those are really fun. They flow really nice. Something to think about. We could possibly even make them a little bit tighter, and then we could get more thread, more lines in there as we go out. That's an option too, if you want them to be a little bit more dense. These are kind of like a little cosmic cartoon swirls, you know. They have a different spacing, but that's okay. I'm human and I don't worry about that stuff. I'm just going to let them be as pretty as they are, and it's all going to work out. Now, this is white, and I just want to showcase the difference, right? This is a low contrast thread. It's still green, it does show, but the blend of these two colors overall is much closer. When I'm doing it on the white, you're still getting, it's still low because the pink is light, but you're getting less contrast because you're not going to get the shadows on the white like you will on the dark fabric. So that's just something to think about. You know, when you want drama, this is going to give you a little more drama than white with a light color. Okay? So let's go ahead and we'll do another one. I'll scoot this over. So I'm going to put some more circles in here eventually. We're going to actually do a couple of more. But right here, let's talk about what we can do with the intersection right here. So on this one right here, I've got these like little intersecty circles. We could do some type of fill like that in here. And then what I would do here is I think I'm going to leave this to be open right here. Or if I did put another echo in here, I could put another one. But what I don't want is right here to have this be densely quilted and then have more dense quilting right here. I don't want this to bleed into this. So right now, until I decide what I'm going to do, I would only want to quilt something right in this space. So let's go ahead and we'll do that. We kind of got the circle theme going on. So I right here, I've pulled this fabric up a little bit onto my Sew Steady table. Let me show you. Just see right there, because it is kind of big, it is kind of bulky, and I want to make sure that it's all going to move with me right here. So it is up, bunched up on here so that all of the weight is supported. Okay. So right now I want to get in close right here, so I'm going to hold. This is my support so I can make all of the quilt, especially this heavier part, come with me. So let's start sewing. So we're going to do just some little circles, and then I'm going to echo it. And then we'll do a figure 8 and another one. Let's make some that are bigger. And I'll do that inside one a little bit more to get me over here so I can. All right, so right now I have to decide, am I going to go this way and fill this way, or am I going to work on this side? It doesn't matter. You can totally decide, but I think that helps you when you think about it, like directionally, which way am I going to go? So I'm going to start filling on this side. And I want to get into this corner right here, so I'm going to start filling this way. And right here, I can't maybe fit a whole one in, so one of the things you can do there is you can kind of do a partial. So I'll kind of do it like this to fill it in, and then here I'll just put a little half right there. That'll create the illusion of that guy having the little circle inside, and then now I'm out here and I can continue working. So again, let me get my threads and my fabric up on top right there. Make sure that I'm supported. You should be sitting really in close to your machine. That will help you, because then you'll be able to get support by your body for the quilt. If it's hanging down, that's always a challenge, I think. Here we're going to make a little one because I can't fit a big one in there. And a little echo. All right, so let's start going. Now that we're out of the corner, I feel like, you know, I'm a dunce in the corner. I can't hold on to things. Oh, we missed a spot, so let's fill him in. Put a little baby in there. And we'll put this echo right there. Put another baby, because that's really a small space. All right, let's get some bigger ones. I think scale is good if we can always put a couple of different sizes in. That's always important. And then here, a little one there. And let's just put some little babies right here that don't have an echo. So we can kind of get out of that little spot right there. So babies. Oh, it went awry. We'll go around a few more times. All right, let's see if we can get you in a little closer so you can see what we're doing. So there we go. That's what we've got so far. Oh, my camera is not as tight as it needs to be. I'm going to have to tighten him up. All right, so if I need to travel out a little bit, I can just travel on the existing one. I always feel like I have to really look inside. So right here, I'll put little baby ones so we can get out of dodge, so to speak. One more little baby one right there. Okay, and then right here, we'll do a big one. And we'll put the little echo right there so I can camouflage that little problem area. I'm going to come back up that line and put one out here. And then I can put some baby ones right here. Oh, my hand's tired, so I'm going to adjust. So we're almost to the fill zone. We've almost got this area filled up. And let's see where we're at. Always a few little stitches right there can help you if you don't know where you're at. You can kind of see where the needle hits without a lot of a commotion that way. I'm going slower because these spaces are getting a little tighter. And then we'll come over here and I'll put a little echo right in there. fill that in. And maybe right here too. All right, let's just tack it off. And let's see what we got. All right, I need a scissors. I had it. There it is. Seems like it always crawls under something. All right, we'll cut some of these threads. All right, so that's where we're starting. I think it looks a little messy, of course, with all of the ink on it. I think that's always how it looks. Let's see if we can flip it over, get a better view. All righty, hang on just a second. Here we go. I got some cords I've got to navigate. Oh, it looks so much better without all that mess on there, huh? Love it. All right, so we've done just a few things. So this whole thing is the center motif, and I'm going to put, I think, a couple more rounds in here. There's two ways you can do it. I do want the circle to be really round. So if you have just regular circles, you can just line this up on that quarter. So let me come out a little so you can see it. So these were done with the circles on quilts, which looks like this, right? It has a pin, and the pin goes right there. And then you just are going to use the ruler and sew the circle. But as these are getting smaller, I have some smaller circles. So what I can do here is line up two lines on the cross mark, right? Oh, I need this too. There we go. I need two clean lines. So right there is a line, and right here is a line. And if I line those up, then this circle should be centered right on the rest of that. And then let me show you real quick. If I have a 3.5, if I use a 3.5 and then a 3, anytime that you have a 1/2 inch differential on a circle, you're going to get this 1/4 inch difference. So if I have 3, 3.5, it'll be a 1/4 inch for the two circles. If I have 2, 2.5, I'll get a 1/4 inch difference between the two circles. And the reason why that is there is a 1/4 inch on this side, and if you were on the other side of the circle, you would get a 1/4 inch on the other side. So if I want a bigger space, for example, if I wanted a 1/2 inch, then I would want a 1/2 inch difference. Right here, I would make this go to 1. So 3.5 and 2.5 will give you a 1/2 inch breathing easement between the two. Okay? So if you want to play and do this, you can go ahead and make your circles and then do some of this base right here, and then we're going to continue adding. So I think next week, I kind of got it set up where we have a little bit of a feather area that we're going to do, and that'll be part of the next week process. So the idea is we're going to put in some big motifs. So like this is big, that's kind of big, and it's intersecting, so it has a lot of drama. And then we're going to make a big feather. And then what we'll do after that is we're going to make things that will fit in. So like whatever goes in here, and if say the feather is right here and it curves, well then what is going to go into that curve? What's going to fit into the curve? So we'll work on about 4 large motifs for the next couple weeks. And then after that, we'll be filling those in. So we're going to just kind of continue working on that. And that way, if you want to participate, you can. And remember what I said, it doesn't matter about the spacing. You decide. This will sort of be like a little whole cloth development project. All right, let's see if I have any questions real quick. All right, so we really only did 2 designs today per se, but we also did the spatial development here and then the easement here, making sure that we don't have these sort of butting up and smashing into each other. And then if you have something that is pieced, you could put something in here that's pieced and make your background circle. So you need a lot of negative space if you're going to do this with me as we're sewing along. Okay, so let's see. You like my olives? I know they're not as round as they could be, but you know what? I've just like given up on that. I'm not too worried about it. I think they look yummy. So I'm going to eat them. All right, let's see. Oh my goodness, it's so early for some of you early people. God bless you. Thank you for being here. You know, you can watch it later if you want to. All right, well, I don't really see a lot of other questions. I'm so happy to be back with you guys. I definitely miss this opportunity. I am traveling next week, and so I don't know that I will have the chance to do it. If I have an opportunity to tape one more segment, I'll try to post that at 10. But right now, I just don't know if I will have time because I leave on Monday. So, but I will be doing my ruler work on Sew Steady on Sunday. That's at 3 o'clock Mountain Time. And I do have a post that's coming out on my YouTube channel. If you haven't seen it before, it's one from previous, but we're going to be posting that. And it is the one that's related to this class, but that had all of the trauma of not being able to make things sew. So now you get to see all the Freemotion part that was missing on that class. If you want to see that other one, it kind of shows how you can make the circle and things like that. So, all right. Have a great day, you guys. Happy quilting. Go play.